2017 was a very interesting year for NASCAR. Monster Energy would take over as the title sponsor of the Cup Series, replacing Sprint. And this was infamously the first season of NASCAR with stage racing. Today's video, I want to talk about a race that I think deserves more recognition. And I just think for how good it was across the board, nobody talks about it. I may or may not have a personal bias towards this race because I was there in person as a 14-year-old kid with braces. And the race I want to talk about is the first ever race with stages in the Cup Series, that being the 2017 Daytona 500, the 59th running of the Great American Race. When it comes to the Daytona 500, particularly Daytona 500s over the last 10, 15, 20 years, people always bring up Dale Jr. winning his second. The infamous Juan Montoya crash in 2012, Austin Dillon winning 20 years after Dale Earnhardt finally got his first Daytona win. The Ryan Newman disaster, Austin Cindric winning in just his 8th Cup start, Ryan Preece flying. Again, the list goes on. But the 2017 running, at least to me, personal biases aside, had everything you could ask for in a Cup Series race. The only thing people talk about is the winner. Kurt Busch finally, after all those years, getting his first Daytona 500 win. But the rest of the race as a whole was really good. And nobody talks about the racing in that race. Nobody talks about the storylines, the funny little moments, the wrecks, and the unique fuel mileage finish. So today I want to go over the 2017 Daytona 500, as it was my first Daytona 500 in person, and I think it deserves a lot more recognition. And yeah, it is a beautiful day. Sunday, February 26th, 2017. I was there with my father. Not a cloud in the sky. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. It would be Chase Elliott and Dale Earnhardt Jr., Hendrick Motorsports teammates, making up the front row. Chase Elliott, after winning Rookie of the Year, trying to win his first Cup Series race. He won the dual race on Thursday. Dale Earnhardt Jr. missed the second half of 2016 due to concussion-like symptoms. At the time, we did not know this would be Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s final Daytona 500. He was going for his third. On top of that, Daniel Suarez and Eric Jones made up the 2017 rookie class that year, two very anticipated hotshots. How would they do? Jeff Gordon pulls the Chevy Corvette pace car onto pit road, and an Elliott and Earnhardt lead them to green to start the Great American Race.
Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing, boys!
The first handful of laps was nothing too crazy. Double file, little 3 wide. It was really nice seeing Jamie McMurray lead some laps. And Clint Bowyer, in his first race for Stewart-Haas Racing, was up there in the mix as well. This race was very quirky. Had a lot of funny moments that you don't see in every single race. And the first moment happened around lap 14-15 when Joey Logano came down pit road for a loose wheel. Once he got back out there, one car versus a pack of 39 cars is going to be significantly slower. And as the field chased down Logano, we all thought he would easily go a lap down. McMurray makes the move, but Ford associate Kevin Harvick stays in line, actually pushes the 22 back out front. McMurray would lose the lead, and Joey Logano would lead the race despite nearly being a lap down. This was, again, the first ever Cup Series race with stages. And we all wondered what was going to happen with a mandatory caution coming out at lap 60 and lap 120. We soon found out.
Boy, speaking of no sense at all, here come all the Toyotas to pit road.
Guys, this gets them in the window to make it to the end of stage 1. This gets them in the window right there.
All of the Toyotas, the Gibbs Toyotas and the Furniture Row Toyotas, pit together on lap 20, way before they had to pit. They were trying to pit as early as possible, with also being able to make it to the end of stage 1. Half the Toyotas, Suarez, Eric Jones, and Kenseth all got penalties or missed their pit box, so the Toyota strategy was kind of botched, and as more pit stops happened, near disaster struck.
Halfway through the first stage and almost a collision.
Crash.
And hard into the wall goes Corey LaJoie. LaJoie misjudged his speed entering pit road, locked it up, spun to the outside to the wall, and we're under caution.
Another rookie mistake.
Corey LaJoie, who was just a rookie at this point, came in about 100 miles an hour way too fast into pit road, nearly killing Clint Boyer. He darts the car right, last second slams the outside wall. First caution of the day. The race resumes, the Toyotas are up front. And with Truex and Kyle Busch side by side fighting for the lead, a young 24-year-old Ryan Blaney for the Wood Brothers makes his move.
Busch being up there, and just moments ago, they came in under green and were so far behind. Look at this move, 3 wide. He's not done yet.
Blaney shoots the middle.
He came to win this race.
I'm going somewhere, boys. You want to go with me?
Kyle Busch and Blaney put on a really good battle side by side, taking turns, swapping the lead. It was a really good battle between prime Kyle Busch and the young gun, future Cup champion Blaney. Before the stage came to a close, there was a near disaster. David Reagan, Paul Menard, and Ricky Stenhouse made contact, resulting in David Reagan slapping the outside wall. Just a couple laps after that, Ricky Stenhouse, flat tire, nearly shoved Ryan Newman into the wall. With the pack separated, Kyle Busch was able to get the lead and win the first ever stage in NASCAR history.
With Harvick in tow, Blaney side by side for fourth. And the computer says Dale Keselowski over Dale Earnhardt Jr.
After some pit stops and some tire strategies, 2 and 3 wide racing for the early part of stage 2, the field would eventually get strung out. Kevin Harvick was up front, and then pit stops began in stage 2. Toyotas pit early, and some of the Fords. However, the Hendrick Chevrolets, particularly Dale Jr. and Jimmy Johnson, stayed out. And during the pit cycle, fan favorite Dale Jr. takes the lead.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. to the point. Elliott Sadler, Jimmy Johnson, Chase Elliott, Chris Buescher. 5 Chevrolets in front. Most of the Toyotas and Fords have already made a pit stop under green in this second stage.
The Toyotas already pitted. Kyle Busch, Eric Jones, Matt Kenseth, Daniel Suarez, and leader Dale Jr. was in the same pack, waiting for his pit stop. Before Dale Jr., though, while in the lead could make his pit stop, Kyle Busch's tire goes down.
Whoa, Kyle Busch is around. Big wreck.
Wow. There's
Dale Jr. got involved.
Oh, Jr.'s in it, and Matt Kenseth.
And Ty Dillon and Eric Jones are all piled up in turn 3.
What the heck happened?
The 18 just turned around. I don't know if he got himself in a unique position, or the car got loose right there going in the corner, or he had a tire going down, but it just turned around in front of everybody.
This wreck just past the halfway point would make this race turn into absolute chaos from here on out. Kyle Busch, Matt Kenseth, Eric Jones, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. all involved. The Toyotas had a dominant 2016 Daytona 500, working together, finishing 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 5th, and Matt Kenseth almost won that race. However, this basically destroyed any Toyota strategy, as half the organization was wiped out in one crash. This race, again with the quirkiness, we got a funny little Kyle Busch interview, basically shredding Goodyear.
But man, nothing that we did wrong. You know, obviously Goodyear tires just aren't very good at holding air. So it's very frustrating when we have that down here every single year we've been here. Last year we had it as well too. It wrecked us in practice and tore up a car. A few cars actually were in that as well. So this M&M's Camry though, we were just biding our time, playing it out, trying to see what the strategies we're going to do at the segments. Thankfully we have a segment point, you know, out of this day. That's a positive, but man, you're trying to win the Daytona 500 here, you know, and that's just so disappointing.
After a brief red flag, in which Elliott Sadler in the Tommy Baldwin number 7 car was the leader. Stage 2 would resume with about 10 laps to go. Kevin Harvick and Danica Patrick on the front row. Danica Patrick actually got points in both stages. One of her best races run until she was wiped out later. We'll get to that in a little bit. The Fords were up front at the end of stage 2. Kevin Harvick takes the green and white checkered flag to win stage 2, barely over Joey Logano.
Drop back to the bottom. Here they come to the green and white tablecloth to signify the end of stage 2. Harvick, as Joey Logano made a bold move to the inside. Kevin Harvick wins stage 2.
If you don't think these stages are making more intense racing out there, look at that.
Stage 3 is where really this race gets out of hand. All the Hendrick cars are up front on this restart. All the Fords who just pit for tires are trying to maneuver their way through the field 3 wide really early in stage 3. And Casey Kane for Hendrick Motorsports, 2016, he did not lead a single lap. So this race was the first time in over a year that Casey Kane led a lap in a Cup Series race. Chaos would ensue, and this race would turn into a shit show.
It's 10 to go.
Trouble. Here we go.
Stacking up.
Here we go.
Jimmy Johnson got turned, and they pile up behind him.
14, 48. I mean, the whole crowd. There's a 10.
Swung his way at this point, and
Trouble
big
off
one,
turn
Mike.
4. 3 cars spin down to the inside, trying to save it and stay off the wall. And Stenhouse, Bain cannot. On the inside, excuse me, that's Kane.
Oh,
big trouble.
Good grief.
Did they not wreck?
Oh, they're wrecking. They're wrecking.
Suarez to the inside, along with Newman. Cars
not done
piling up
wrecking,
to the
they're wrecking
outside
there.
and all the way across the track.
Crash after crash after crash. Heavy hitters like Johnson, Harvick, Hamlin, Keselowski, Newman, rookie Daniel Suarez, Blaney got damaged. Everyone got damaged. Danica Patrick, who had a good day, was taken out. Clint Boyer in his first race for Stewart-Haas Racing. One of those guys involved in the first big wreck was Kurt Busch, who would eventually be the winner of this race. But at the time, I'm pretty sure most of us wrote him off. It was utter chaos. I don't know what was in the air during this Daytona 500, but the aggression was up 20 notches, it seemed like. Just crazy moves. And then we had one more wreck with Joey Gase and Brendan Gaughan. And this was also the first year of the DVP, the damaged vehicle policy. If you were involved in a wreck and could not get the car fixed in 5 minutes and reach minimum speed, it wasn't like you can come back out of the garage. You were done for the day. So a lot of cars who could have came back out to fight for some points were done. The 3 races I've been to prior were all at Pocono. I have never seen a race this chaotic before, so 14-year-old me was going nuts. And literally at this point, to my knowledge, there were only 3 cars, count them, 3 cars in this race that had literally no damage. The race restarts with 49 laps to go. The entire field pitted at 51 to go to top off with fuel.
Don't slide the tires. We're just going to do 2 tires. A little slow on this right front.
Vince, 2 tires for Austin Dillon. They're struggling a bit, and the 22 of Joey Logano took right sides as well.
Cole Witt in the 72 car led laps in this race and restarted alongside Eric Almirola. Despite all of these crashes and all this chaos and carnage, it didn't slow these drivers down one bit.
Get just through tech at various times throughout the course of Speed Weeks. And then today, their race, they had a loose wheel early in the race. They've been in multiple times to fix crash damage, but they've executed very well. And now, big save by Truex. They're still in the hunt.
Unbelievable save by Mark Truex Jr. right there.
Crazy pushes, side drafts, near wrecks again. Random side note, I want to point out, this was also Michael Waltrip's last race. I think the reason why this race was so crazy, particularly towards the end, all of these young drivers like Chase Elliott and Ryan Blaney, and of course Joey Logano were all up front. Kurt Busch trying to win his first Daytona 500 despite having a lot of damage. Trevor Bayne trying to win his second Daytona 500. Martin Truex. It started to calm down with around 30 laps to go. Joey Logano would become the leader for a little bit, passing Kyle Larson. Chase Elliott makes his move.
24 of Chase Elliott to the lead. You saw there that Elliott moved out a little bit, tried to help Martin, I think, a tad. But
Chase Elliott trying to win his first Cup Series race and only his sophomore season in the Daytona 500. The laps tick down, and the field migrates to the top of the racetrack. Truex didn't think he could make a move with the damage that he had. 15 to go, 10 to go, 5 to go. Elliott still leads. Only about 10 cars in the lead draft, some of these guys being AJ Allmendinger, Paul Menard, a damaged Ryan Blaney, Casey Kane, who hasn't won a race in a few years, a damaged Kurt Busch looking for his first Daytona 500 win, and Joey Logano. Larry Mack mentioned earlier on the broadcast that this race could come down to fuel mileage. And guess what? It did.
He's got to run. He's
out
going.
of fuel. Out of fuel.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
You're kidding me.
Great opportunity for Mark Truex Jr. right here.
Now the question is, can the 78 hold these guys off? Can he do it?
2 laps to go.
3 to go. Chase Elliott's car sputters, giving Martin Truex the lead. Can he get redemption from 1 year ago? No, he can't, because Kyle Larson makes a crazy move. Clears up, passes the 78. The 78 runs out of gas. Now Kyle Larson, who just got his first Cup Series win a year ago, looking for his second in the Great American Race. 1 lap to go. And who's in second? Kurt Busch.
Yeah, when I think of experience and knowledge here at Daytona, I think of Kurt Busch. He's been so close so many times.
Pushed his teammate to victory here one time. Is anybody going to push him today?
Look at the 21 coming on the inside to give him a big push. Where'd he come from?
Ryan Blaney from the back with Logano. Blaney
42's out of gas. 42's out of gas.
Kyle Larson's car sputters just for a second. Kurt Busch goes around the outside. Ryan Blaney makes up 8 spots. He chose the bottom with his teammate 22, Joey Logano. Can the sophomore driver Blaney win the Daytona 500? More cars run out of gas. Kurt Busch pulls away. Blaney has one last shot, but he is unable to do it.
From Las Vegas, the 2004 champion of the series, Kurt Busch, for Gene Haas and Tony Stewart, wins the Daytona 500.
Wow. Wow. First time he's won the 500. What about that?
He pushed his then Penske teammate Ryan Newman to victory.
Kurt Busch, after having 3 prior runner-up finishes in the Daytona 500 and his 17th attempt, finally wins the Great American Race over Ryan Blaney, and 3rd place, AJ Allmendinger. Good for him. This would also technically be Tony Stewart's first Daytona 500. Stewart never won it as a driver, but he did win it as an owner. This race had it all. From the fun battles in the early and middle portions of the race, the crazy Toyota strategies and the pit strategies for the first race ever having stages, people trying to figure out when to pit. The Kyle Busch soundbite in his interview was funny. Cole Witt leading laps. Casey Kane leading his first lap in over a year. Corey LaJoie nearly smoking Clinton Boyer on pit road. And a random fuel mileage finish with like 10 cars left at the end, resulting in a last lap pass and a first-time Daytona 500 winner. I hold this race really close to my heart because it was the first Daytona 500 I was at, but also the fact that I just don't think many people ever talk about this. I never hear people bring this race up, and it was a lot of fun to watch. What did you guys think of the 2017 Daytona 500? Are you like me and think it's an underrated gem? Or is it just kind of there? I hope you enjoyed today's video. Stay tuned for more.